Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. In this video we'll be learning what is Nmap and why it is useful. So let's get started. Okay, so over here I'm on my Kali machine. I'm on root privileges. For Nmap you required root access to execute the commands. So basically, what is Nmap? Network mapping is a tool used by the hackers to scan networks so we can find live hosts or find targets to hack. And we can also use this tool to find information about these targets. A process called enumeration. You can install Nmap anywhere on Windows, Mac OS or Linux. So right now I'm on my Kali machine, and let's say that I have a server connected to within my virtual network, as I'm using my Kali Linux on my VirtualBox. So over here you can see that Windows Server 2022 has been installed within the virtual machine, where I can see my IP address is ipconfig/all. And here you can see my IP address is 192.168.165.8 and .2 is my default gateway. On my Kali machines I can do the same with ipconfig or ipaddr, where my IP address is 192.168.165.4. So first of all, let's ping both machines. So over here I'm mentioning Windows Server IP address and enter, and then you can see that the pin has been successful. So I'll break this. Let's go to my Windows machine and enter the same command, which ping 192.168.165 and this time .4, which is the Kali Linux server. And over here you can see the packets are successful. So let's get back to the Kali machine. So both machines are talking to each other right now. So let's start with the basic command. Right, so I'll use nmap -s, which scan for scan, and p, scan for port scan, followed by 192.168.165.0/24. So /24 number refers to how many bits are contained in a network. From this, the numbers of bits left for the address space can be calculated. So we all know that IP version 4 networks have 32 bits, and each section of the address denotes by the decimal point contain 8 bits. Let's give it a go. And this will scan the whole network for the IP addresses for the machines which are up and running along with their ports. Let's wait for it to complete. Over here you can see the Nmap report, where .2 is our router, which has been assigned as DHCP, and .3 is the virtual network itself, which is this VirtualBox, and .6 is my other machine you can see over here, which is Metas Portable based on Linux kernel, and you can download this from Rapid 7. Metas Portable machine is for free, and you can use it for checking your vulnerability. You can learn by attacking to this machine, and no matter if it's crashed, you can reinstall it again. So let's find its IP, which is ifconfig, and over here you can see the IP address is 192.168.165.6. Let's go back to the Nmap result, and over here you can see that Nmap.6 over here, and followed by .8, which is the Windows server, and followed by .4, which is the Kali on which I am using. So let's move on with the other basic command like nmap -s and capital T, which stand for TCP, followed by 192. Let's use 024. So -s is stand for scan, and T stand for TCP scan, which is a full scan, you can say, or three-way handshake. TCP is a transfer control protocol which enables a client to speak to the server. It is a digital way of communication between devices. There is a term used, IDS, which stands for Intrusion Detection Systems. that often built on some of the firewalls nowadays, and that might catch and put you in trouble and stop your union tracks. But we can be a bit steadier in our next command I'll show you. So the result is over here. You can see most of the ports are open. Starting with the Nmap, all 1000 scans ports on .2 is ignored. And over here you can see .3, which is the virtual network itself. And over here .6, which is my Metasploitable machine, which is already made for vulnerability. So most of the ports are open over here, the famous ports. Followed by .8, which is the Windows Server. Over here you can see that 3 ports are only open, which is MSRPC 135, 139, 445, which is Microsoft-DS, and then followed by .4, which is this Kali Linux machine. All ports on this machine are closed. So now we have to be a bit specific, because scanning with -ST can be noisy. And in an environment where you are conducting pen testing, you need to inform the network or the network users that you are conducting pen testing, and Windows system can detect. Of course, so for that you may need some time more. Still form, which there is a command for that with nmap -s small s capital S, and followed by let's say I want to be specific now, so let's mention the port, which is -small p 80, and let's check with on Windows Server. I have mentioned a specific port over here, which is 80 and 443, which stand for HTTP and HTTPS. So let's see that if these ports are open on the Windows Server. Okay, so here's the result, where you can see that both of the ports are filtered, and means there is some type of firewall. So let's check the same port on .6, which is my Metasploitable machine. This scan a bit faster as compared to the other one. Over here you can see that one is open, which is HTTP, and the other one is closed, which is HTTPS. Let's check again -ST, but this time not with the whole network, only with the Windows Server. So over here you can see that 3 ports are open. So let's rerun the command, and before that I want to run Wireshark. Wireshark is basically a packet capturing software, and over here you can see, let's maximize a bit so you guys can see this clearly, and click on this icon to capture the packet, and let's execute the command. Wait for it. You can see some of the information executing in my background. There it is. So let's go to Wireshark, stop the capturing one, and over here in my filter I would like to mention IP.addr, stand for address, and then equal to 192.168.165.8. Okay, so over here you can see that TCP connections are made, and moreover, where you can see any of the sync packet, right click on them, apply filter, and select it, where you can see RST over here, which stand for reset. So reset flag means the ending conversation with the reset packet. So now rerun the command. Let's go capture again with a new session, and we'll execute the same command with capital S. And let's say that if there is I just want to show you that the reset RST flag has been generated within the packets in -ST option of the Nmap. So the command executed the same result, but this time we have used -SS. So stop over here to sync one, right click, apply filter, select, and there you can see that there is no RST, means there is no reset. We have already used -SS to still scan. So that's the difference between both of them. So let's move on with other switches. Let's use Nmap -O followed by the IP address of the Windows server. Okay, capital O stands for OS detection. So it will detect that which OS this IP is running. Okay, over here same, the ports are open as the previous result, and over here you can see that aggressive guessing and just guessing with Windows 2016, which is 93%, because this Nmap doesn't have the information for Windows 2022 server, which I'm running right now. So it's somewhat close with 87% guess, even aggressive mode. If you want to be more specific, you want more information of the port versions also, so we can use Nmap minus capital A followed by the IP of Windows server. In the meantime, there is a term by the name of obfuscation, the process of covering your track as you are scanning network and sending traffic. So keep yourself hidden and make other self more difficult to track you down. For that, we have a separate command. Explain you next after this. This command will take time, honestly, because it gathered a lot of information. The result is over here. You can see we have executed the command over here. Now you can see the version of the port they are using, which is Microsoft RPC over here, NAND BIOS -SSN, and the rest of it is the same. The host script result is over here, followed by the trace route. It's a combo where you can see one hop within 1.29 millisecond. So you can get more information by using the switch minus capital A. So let's move on. Like I said, that if you want to be a more still and if you want to cover your track, so there is a switch for that, which Nmap minus small s, then capital S, which stand for scan and in still mode, and now followed by capital D, which stand for decoy, and followed by the IP of your Kali Linux, which is .4, and then followed by the IP of Windows server which you want to scan. The result will be the same, but this time if someone scan from the Windows side, if the antivirus or internet security create a log file, so the IP address mentioned in their log file will be different to the one mentioned over here, so it will be covered. So you can do by you can also use dash double D, capital D, for double decoy, so it will cover even more. So a bit to revise now, let's get back to the basic syntax of Nmap. Let's clear the screen first. Now let's say that if you want to scan for the whole network, which is Nmap, you will use this command. But if you want to scan only the host and want to know that the hosts are up without knowing any of the ports, so minus SN space. So let's say that if you want to know that the hosts are up and running without knowing the ports are open or not or filtered, so use minus SN and followed by the network and just wait for it. It will scan all 256 IPs within that range. Here are some of the results which you can see that the hosts are up without any of their ports being scanned. So there it is. Moving on to some of the switches we can use, like there is a switch minus SL. So let's give it a try. Minus S, capital L, stand for list. This will list the IP addresses from the supplied target ranges and perform a reverse DNS query to discover any host associated with those IP address. So let's say scan the whole network and let's wait for it. Okay, so over here you can see that it have scanned 256 IP addresses, the whole list of the IP addresses. Let's move on with the other scan, where you can see that we can use Nmap minus S, and like we can use minus T5. Let's use minus T5. T stand for timing, and 5 is the fastest one, and 1 is the slowest one. So there it is. It's one of the fastest one in 16.54 seconds. I will drop the link for Nmap switches in the description. You can mention the port range also, like Nmap and minus S and let's say capital S and then minus P. We can specify the port, or we can mention 1 to like 100 for 192.168.165 and .8. Let's say go for 10, and it will mention the 10 ports within the range along with their status. There's another switch for Nmap which goes -S for scan and capital V for verbose, and followed by the IP. So this is basically somewhat, you can say, not as equal to -A, which is for comprehensive detail. It falls between -O to -A. So you can use -V also if you want some of the information, where it shows that protocol, application name, or maybe sometime OS with the version number and OS restriction. Okay, so now moving on to Nmap scripting. There is a scripting engine for Nmap which is NSE. We have to make several changes within our virtual network. I have already made it, so I will explain you how it goes. So bring up your virtual box manager, go over to file and host network manager. Over here I have already created VirtualBox host only Ethernet adapter. In your case, this will be empty. You need to create it and give it a name. Go over to the properties and click on configure adapter manually. Then go over to DHCP and click enable DHCP server. Click apply and close. And after that, close your Kali Linux and any other systems which is running. Right click on that, click settings, go to networks, and over here your NAT will be selected. So all you have to do is go select host only adapter, and in the name you need to select your VirtualBox or whatever name you have mentioned. Click on advanced, and for the Kali Linux click allow all. You have to do this for all of the operating systems which you are running within the same environment, so they can talk to each other. So let's move on with our scripting. Before scripting, there is another switch which I like to mention, and that can be useful, like -SS followed by the IP address, and then you can say, for example, not IP address, let's say for the whole network, and followed by --top -port and 10. So this will scan the top 10 posts for all the networks. If the scan result shows filtered, that means that there is a firewall and you cannot connect to that machine. So better go and look for the open ports. Over here you can see the top post which we normally use, like FTP is closed on 4 over here, and over here FTP is filtered, and over here you can see on 6 the FTP is open, which is the Metasploit table. So we know that FTP port is open, so we can use it for vulnerability and exploitations later. Okay, so now we'll move on with Nmap scripting, which is NSE. So let's use a basic scripting command, which is --script equal to VULN, which is vulnerable, and let's go for .6 because we already know that most of the ports are open on .6, which is Metasploitable to vulnerable machine. So instead of wasting time on 0.8.8, which is Windows machine, let's go for .6, and let's see that which port are vulnerable, and we can use it for exploitation in the future. The result will show the port open that we know, maybe SQL injections, maybe a cross-site scripting, which is XSS. Okay, so over here you can see that we have used a switch ---script equals to vulnerable on the 0.6. So this is an open vulnerable Metasploitable machine. So you can see that there are a couple of vulnerabilities, like over here status vulnerable, and it is exploitable. Even here you can see that some of the ports are mentioned which are here for vulnerability. So let's say that we want to check for the FTP, that if it's vulnerable or not or we already know that this system is vulnerable to FTP. So we can use the FTP switch for the scripting, which is nmap -- script and then space inverted commas FTP -- which is a wildcard, means all the vulnerabilities which falls with FTP, and give it a try. You can see the process over here. It's checking for FTP vulnerability. Okay, so over here I'm a bit specific with port 21, and I am using FTP wildcard with star for the scripting. So let's give it a try. So this command will find all the vulnerabilities on the specific port 21 for the FTP. You can check the status of the command by pressing enter while it is under process. This command is under process and we will come back to this. In the meantime, we can check other useful switches for Nmap, so which can be useful. You don't have to memorize each of them by heart. You can check them by man if you do manual, and then Nmap. There you get the manual for each and every command listed over here. So you can use it, or rather you can use nmap -- help, where you can see a short help for each of the commands over here. So moving on with some of these useful switches where you can output the file, like you can say scan for 192 or still scan 192.168.165.8, and then we can output it to any of the file, like we can use -on for normal output, -ox for XML file, -og for grepl file, and -oa. So OA results in output in 3 major formats at once, and -og we can use for grepl output to screen, which is on and ox. So over here I will use like -on, small o and capital N, -on, and let's call the file as output.txt. Okay, over here I have not mentioned sudo, so let's execute this command with sudo. Let's wait for it. Okay, so over here you can see that the ports are open and the file has been output. If you can check now with ls, then you can see output.txt. So let's use pico with output.txt. Here you can see the output of the file, same as we can see on the display screen. So let's move on with another command. So let's say to evasion and spoofing of firewall, we can use like nmap followed by 192, or let's say same scan, and we'll use -f. What -f will go, that it will request scan including ping scans, use tiny fragmented IP packets hardened for packet filters. So again, not forget to mention sudo. Let's wait for it. So here's the same result. So this time they have used tiny fragmentation IP packets, so that's harder for the packet filters. So moreover, there are many switches which I will drop the link in the description. Okay, so now our script scan has been completed, and over here you can see that we have several FTP, FST, PD backdoor vulnerability which is exploitable. Moreover, there is a list of it. You can save this to the file, same as what I have mentioned over here, by using different switches. This doesn't mean that the system is not vulnerable to FTP. As Nmap is a basic scanning tool, it doesn't have a script to check particular vulnerabilities. We can further use NASes or OpenVAS against the servers. Now, if I want to show you a setup Nmap on the network segment, for example, let's say maybe you are connected to a local area network of your target, or you are able to get their Wi-Fi, in which case you are actually start sniffing the area and be able to see who is on that network. So for that command, sometime it's work out and sometime it doesn't. So let's say use nmap script dash script equal to target, and you can see target minus sniffer, and here we can use the argument which is dash script dash args, stand for arguments. And what are the arguments? That are new targets dot target sniffer, comma, means first argument is complete, followed by second one which is target dash sniffer dot timeout within 60 seconds, comma, last target argument which is target sniffer dot iphase dot eth0, which is our interface, which is eth0. So it says by using that interface you can say, okay, so over here is the result which says pre-scan screen target sniffer sniffed 2 addresses, out of which one is the IP6 version, the other one is .2, which is our DHCP itself, and warning, there is no target specified. So basically Nmap is a basic scanning tool which extract out the hosting IPs and their ports which are open, closed or filtered. So this is what the Nmap is so far. There are a number of switches which you can use, you can try by your own. I'll drop the link in the description. Let me know if I have missed something so I can cover it in my future videos. If you like my videos, click thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for future videos. Bye bye.